Greetings to all you viewers. Welcome to another edition today. And today's topic, we're going to focus on what causes learning disabilities. Yesterday's topic was what is learning disabilities and how do you explain learning disabilities. If you haven't watched it, please go do so. Go and watch that video. It was very interesting. So let's move on. Today's topic is going to base on what are the causes of learning disabilities. A learning disability occurs when the brain is still developing, that is, before, during, or after birth. Several things can cause a learning disability, which I'm going to line out here. Maternal illnesses during pregnancy, birth complications that block the flow of oxygen to the baby's brain, certain genes that can cause the person more genetically prone to developing a learning disabilities, injury or illnesses such as meningitis in childhood or earlyhood, health conditions such as cerebral palsy and Down syndrome often involved some extent of a learning disabilities. Now, let me explain this into details. Before birth, let's start from there. That is when a woman is pregnant, expecting, the baby is still unborn. Before birth, things can happen to the central nervous system, the brain, and the spinal cord that can cause a learning disability. A child can be born with a learning disability if the mother has an accident or illness while she's pregnant, or if the unborn baby develops certain genes. Genes are chemicals in our bodies that certain informations that contains information about us, like how we look. Another cause of learning disability can also be genetics. What does this mean? Learning disability often runs in the family. So many people with a learning disability have parents or relatives with a similar difficulties. A person can be born with a learning disability if he or she does not get enough oxygen during childbirth. And also, this can cause trauma to the head or is born too early. So what does this what does this explain? How can learning disabilities formed, that is, before pregnancies, before birth? How do you get to the stage of having a learning disabilities before birth, when the baby is still in the mother's womb? This can happen if the mother have an accident or illness whilst being pregnant. This can cause the baby, the unborn baby, to develop a learning disabilities. Another causes again can be genetic. What is genetic? Learning disability can also run through the family. If one part of the family, either the mother, the father, or any relatives in the family has a learning disability, so this gives you this is passed on to the unborn child when a mother has a genetic that runs in the family or relatives. Another causes again can be when the child does not have, like when the mother is at the point of delivering the baby and there is not enough oxygen to have that delivery. That lack of oxygen can also affect the child's brain. It can also affect their spinal cord. That can also form a learning disability. So these are all the causes. Now, let's explain now we're going to explain after birth. What happened with the child after birth? If a child was diagnosed with a learning disability after birth, what are the causes? So after birth, a learning disability can be caused by early childhood illnesses. That is when the child is ill whilst being born already. Accidents also can have an impact of the child after born. If there is an accident that may have an effect of the brain, can also have a cause for someone to have a learning disability. Seizures. If somebody has constantly seizures as a childhood, this can also cause a learning disabilities. Head injuries also cause learning disabilities. Nutritional deprivation, where a child doesn't have enough nutrients when they were still a baby, they don't have enough nutrients to support them with their growth, can also lead to a learning disability. And the last thing is exposure to toxic substances. This can also have a contribution to the development of a learning disability. What does that mean? The environment that you live in. If there is any toxic exposures, chemical around your area, this can also affect the development of that child. That may lead to having a learning disability. Sometimes people who have a learning disabilities can go undiagnosed during childhood, which can cause a range of problems in adulthood, including preventing them. Okay. Now, we've already read about the cause of learning disability, that is before birth and after birth. That again. Sometimes people with learning disability, they can go undiagnosed during childhood, and this can cause a range of problems during their adulthood, including preventing them from having the right support from childhood leading to adulthood. So I saw so many of these cases which I'm dealing with. When a child gets to the age of 18, turning to an adulthood, that's where they got stuck in the system. Support is not available. Why? The time when they were children, when they needed that support was not there. Why? Because they were not diagnosed. So today, my advice to you as a parent, if you see that your child is having some different developmental stages which you think is not developing to the right way like other children, please seek for support. Ask for a diagnosis. Visit your GP. Is the first point of contact. Contact your GP and request for a diagnosis when your child is still a child. So receiving that support when they are children, that will help them to develop the milestone they are meant to be developing. They will get the right support they're meant to have. If for them to go to a special needs school, they can have that access to have a special needs school. And any other social support that is required, they can have it at an early age prior to becoming an adulthood. Because when the child gets to the age of an adulthood, that's when the problems start occurring. And it takes a while to diagnose someone to have a learning disability. So the earlier, the better. If you suspect that your child has a different way of developing, please contact your GP and request for your child to be diagnosed, assessed, review for them to have the diagnosis, the right diagnosis they should have, in order for you to get that early support whilst your child is still a child, for them to get the right support and for them to have that developmental stage and to reach their full potential before adulthood. Thank you so much for watching and listening to me. If you find this information useful, please comment below and state what is useful, which area should I develop to. Thank you so much for watching. See you back on my next video, which will be tomorrow. Thank you.